It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
As always. Yes. So much to talk about in so little time.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It's only Tuesday morning.
I know.
And this week has already been incredibly busy. It's just filled with stuff. You know why that is? Because we're going on vacation next week. That's why. Which tells me, based on history, things are going to get even crazier leading up to Friday. Our good friend Dan Mandis will be filling in next week while we're gone. And it's going to be crazy, I'm sure. But he's good. He can handle the crazy just like we can. But inevitably, there's going to be, because you and I are going to be chomping at the bit to comment on all the craziness. And, of course, everything will fall out on Friday morning as we're leaving. And then we'll just have to wait a week to be able to rant about it.
Well, I wanted to play this. We never got a chance yesterday. There's so much going on, but I wanted to play this because this goes back all the way to 2017. And it's something that you and I brought up, and you reference it an awful lot on the show. And I think it's going back to May of 2017. We talk about John Soloman and Sarah A. Carter. They're the ones that really looked at the whole FISA courts.
Yeah.
And saw that the Obama administration had basically informed right at the end of their term, right before the election, that they weren't following what they told the FISA court that they would, that they were unconstitutionally using in an unconstitutional way the FISA laws to monitor Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an interview that he did that I didn't know this, but this almost reminds me of like All the President's Men when they were meeting with like Deep Throat and other people in parking lots and things like this.
Right.
I didn't know this happened to John Soloman. And he related it in an interview recently. Listen to this, because this is absolutely fascinating. If you've ever seen All the President's Men, you know what I'm talking about.
Right, yeah.
I keep forgetting. It's what?
Oh my
half
gosh.
Century old?
Yeah. Wow.
I saw I went and saw All the President's Men at a drive-in. At a drive-in theater.
Yeah.
And it was about Watergate. But
watching it now, it'll seem like a comedy compared to the Russian hoax and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. But, and I remember when we were first talking, when we go back very quickly here to 2017, and we were talking about it, and people said, well, why can't we get answers? And I said, well, look, even Watergate took what, year and a half?
Yeah.
2 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Till it fully came out?
Right.
My God, look at this.
Wow.
This thing's been going on because the first stuff started happening in 2016. This is 9 years.
Well, as far as we know, this behavior and activity goes back to 2016. Maybe further.
Oh, no, it goes back further because they talked about the FBI was in violation for a significant period of the Obama administration.
Right. If we connect that part to it, which is, the entire maze of events and labyrinth of events that has happened, with this kind of behavior at that level of government.
Right.
It's a culture. They were building a culture of this kind of behavior.
And this all goes back to FISA abuse, which at that time in May of 17, when John Soloman and Sarah A. Carter brought it up, also related to what should be viewed as the illegal FISA warrant against the Trump campaign.
Right.
Against Carter Page.
Right.
But here it is. This is really interesting. Here we go.
Perhaps the most profound moment of the last decade of my career occurred in March of 17. I had just done a story that got Sean Hannity's attention, so I was on Fox News. It was about a rapid rise in unmaskings, where Americans' intelligence is looked at, even though there's no warrant. They unmask your name, and they know what you said to someone overseas, and they don't get a warrant for it. And it had gone up like 200-300% in the last year of Barack Obama, which is very odd. It was odd to the FISA court. That's why they put the data out. They were concerned that this is a trend. I just thought it was a good civil liberty story, so I wrote it. And at that point, I had been repeatedly told that don't waste your time on Russia collusion. It's going nowhere. And by the way, from some of the most senior leaders of the FBI and the Justice Department, the very people who might also have gone out and told us there was something there when there wasn't. But they were telling me it wasn't. Got home about 10:45, 11 o'clock at night. My wife's already in bed. I pull in the driveway, and there's a blue sedan sitting in front of my mailbox with its yellow fog lights on. And I pull in the driveway, and these two GI men get out of their car. It's about 11 o'clock at night. And as I'm getting out of my car, they say, "Are you Mr. Solomon?" I'm like, "I don't know. Am I being arrested? What's going on? They get throw cuffs on me? Did I break some classified secret I shouldn't today?" And they're like, "You don't know who we are. We can't tell you who we are, but you're at the tip of a very large iceberg, and we hope you drill into it." And I'm like, "What in God's name are you guys talking about?" "Well, that thing you were reporting on television." Yeah, it's a FISA court filing. It is the apex of a very large scandal, and you need to drill down in it. And all right, walk me through this, guy. "Well, we can't tell you. It's all classified." "Okay, that's not very helpful. Can you give me something of more generic description?" "Yeah, we work in the intelligence community, and our agencies were asked to participate in one of the greatest political dirty tricks in history. And if it isn't stopped, and one day when it is uncovered, we will lose the tools that keep you and I safe at night. We won't be able to find terrorists, and we won't find spies, because these tools will be taken from us because we abused them in the last couple of years." And I'm like, holy mackerel, what's going on here? And so they couldn't give me much more detail, but they inspired me to start wondering about whether I was missing something big. And I got home by that time, and there were 20 minutes. It passed about 11:20 at night. From 11:20 at night to 2 in the morning, I wrote a long email to my then work sister, Sarah Carter, who was just a fantastic reporter, now the drug czar for President Trump. And I just tried to remember everything they told me. Like, "Sarah, I don't know what the hell these guys are trying to tell us, but tomorrow morning, let's wake up and find out." And that sent us on our journey.
Well, obviously, it has been the concern of the whole Patriot Act, the FISA courts, and everything else, of the balance of what it's supposed to be used for versus the potential for abuse. And of course, during that period, we saw that potential maximized by the Obama administration. We saw the activity. We now have documents that tell us much of what they were doing. But I still suspect that as much as we know, it's the tip of the iceberg thing. We probably know, I don't know, maybe 10%, that might be generous, versus other things that happen. Keep in mind, we know a lot of things now because of documents that were created. And you and I have been asking, oh my gosh, why in the world would they document all this? What about the stuff they didn't document, or the documents they were able to destroy, the communications they were able to conceal permanently or hide or ultimately destroy as well? Those are the things that really concern me because, again, Donald Trump was a global household name before he became president, before he ever ran. And if they'll go after Donald Trump in this way, they won't even blink an eye to go after you if they think you're in their way.
You know, the one thing that makes it credible to me, well, first off, what a mind-blowing story. I've never heard that story from John Soloman before.
I hadn't either,
I can't believe that hasn't made more news because just the intrigue of who are those people that you were talking to, what gives it more credibility to me, I'm trying to think of where I've caught John Soloman in a lie, and I can't.
Right.
And if there was ever an inaccuracy that I off the top of my head can't think of, he's the kind of person that would always correct it if he got wrong information. I don't view him as somebody who would embellish a story. He doesn't seem to be that kind of person from the work that he has done.
Right.
And I'm judging it from the work that he has done. But what gives it credibility to me, again, not knowing John Soloman or anything, when he said that those two people who work for the intelligence agency said, if this isn't discovered and stopped soon, it will get to the point where we will lose the ability because there will be so much outrage from the American public that all these programs will be shut down, and then we cannot use something that's been a very effective tool of us being able to catch terrorists. And that's something that you and I talked about for the longest time. The reason, I would, it's remember when Comey was testifying, would you take FISA warrants seriously, or do you know about it? Well, yeah, because we take them very seriously. They didn't take them seriously.
And they're very difficult to get.
Yeah. You and I would, and I think our audience would. If you're told, again, though, when people don't know the Constitution, when they don't, we talked yesterday just about the whole flag burning thing where nobody paid attention to what was actually said or what the law actually is, and nobody really cared. So I have to question how ignorant a significant portion of the population is on the Constitution. But all I know is if you or I or any of our listeners, if we were put in charge of a program of secret warrants in order to protect the United States, we would understand the seriousness of that job.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of probably being a thorn in the side of anybody else who wanted to expand, it's a living, breathing kind of warrant thing.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need to expand this a little bit. We would say, has Congress endorsed that? No, then you don't. These are the parameters. We're talking about a secret warrant. This is an exception to the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
It's an exception to the Fourth Amendment to stop terrorism. We don't screw with this, and we never abuse it for political purposes. And I know you and I know you, and I know me, and our audience, and what they demand when it comes to constitutional issues, and there'd be no screwing around with them either.
Right.
You don't do it. And for the fact that it seems as if you had, I saw Devin Nunes the other day on the Russia collusion. Here it is. I have it here. I just want to play it real quick because he talks about how many people, and remember, he's the chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. He envisions 2 to 3 dozen people in the conspiracy of the Russian hoax. Here it is.
The public, you can start to begin to put the pieces together to what I know was a grand conspiracy by probably 2 to 3 dozen people. I look at it as from early 2016, when they started the Russia nonsense, all the way to the raid at Mar-a-Lago. The public.
There you go. So that's 2 to 3 dozen people, all high. You think about it: Brennan, Clapper, Comey, FBI, intelligence services, CIA. President of the United States. All these people,
they are the most powerful people in the world.
Yes. And saying to hell with the Constitution. We don't give a damn. Because we got to get this guy because we don't like him. Because up to that point, what was Trump's crimes?
Up to the point that he ran?
Yeah.
I don't know, being famous?
Yeah. That's it.
Liberals actually loved him.
The liberals loved him. And it was based on that we don't want him to be president.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Because, and this is really what concerns me as we put this puzzle together, and how far back does this rabbit hole thing go? Because you think to yourself, all right, once you started that behavior, you can't let the opposition get into the White House because it's inevitable they'll discover what you were doing. You've got to do everything in your power to keep them from winning. And if they win, you got to do everything in your power to discredit them and possibly remove them from office. And that's exactly what they tried to do. Because everything was there. Everything they had done was there. And again, I still think we don't know most of it.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
Projections of fall fruit production for some crops per USDA's August production forecast. Anthony Prilliman of the National Agricultural Statistics Service starts with apples.
Production is estimated at 11.5 billion pounds. That is up 5.7% from last season. I do want to point out that production in Washington, the largest apple producing state, is expected to be a record high for that state this year.
With production up 7% year over year. Number 2 apple production state, New York, is also up in production from 2024. Turning to Apple's palm cousin, pears.
Pear production in 2025 is expected to be up 22.4% from last year.
Pears are grown in the 3 Pacific Coast states. And while Washington and Oregon both report higher production than the previous year, California's rise in pear production in 2025 represents a rebound from lower production totals last year. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. I can't wait. How long is that DNC summer meeting going on? Because I hope to get more great audio got through the rest of the week.
I think it is. I think it runs through Thursday.
Well, excellent, because it's just it's really bizarre, and I think it's a great opportunity because we can say something, and I guess other conservative pundits on TV and radio can say, this is what the Democratic Party is about. But to show that we have credibility in what we're saying, all you have to do is listen to them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, whether it's Keith Ellerson, the Attorney General, talking about they're going to keep suing to ensure they're going to keep the adults in the Democratic Party are going to continue with their evil, filthy perversion of destroying children physically and mentally, with the radical transgender movement, and we're going to continue to sue over that, is just amazing to talk about. To start it out by saying, basically, the DNC summer meeting is being held on stolen land. I mean, all this stuff, they're not going to mellow out.
Catch all 5 hours of the show live every night on the Red Eye Radio app. Available in the App Store. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Download our Red Eye Radio app today, and you can listen when you choose.
Some bad news I found out during the break.
What?
We're not going to have a full week of audio from that meeting. It only goes through Wednesday. So, yeah.
Well, I have a feeling there's going to be plenty of audio cuts to take us through Friday.
We'll have trouble keeping up.
No, but it's a great opportunity because we can say things, this is what the Democrats believe, and people will say, well, that's your interpretation. And that's when we respond, no, that's what they said. Here it is.
Exactly.
I remember, I'll always remember the phone call. There's just some memories of this show that I just will never forget. The one is when, and we have played the audio cuts so many times about when before Obama became president, he said his goal is to, number one, bankrupt the coal industry and to skyrocket electricity prices. Mm-hmm. That his goal as president is to skyrocket electricity prices.
Right.
So when you see energy prices going up right now, I hear you, New York. So many of my acquaintances and friends in Western New York, especially, they're raising the electricity prices, and now they're encouraging everybody to get the smart meters.
Right. Yeah.
And now what they're saying is, at the same time that they're increasing prices, if you get a smart meter, they're now telling you, I think it's New York State Electric and Gas, telling you that, well, we think the analog meters underestimated the electricity you were using. And so people are like,
right,
excuse me, I'm getting the new meter. I'm paying more here, and you're also raising the price of electricity. They're going nuts. They're going,
yeah.
What? What in the world's going on? And so when Obama said that, people voted for a guy who said, I'm going to skyrocket electricity prices.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're all complaining.
Right.
That was the goal.
Yep.
The goal was to do that.
Yep.
There wasn't any other goal.
Nope.
And so we're going to be able to get so much. And so when we let me just go back to the point I was trying to make. When we talked about that one day, we had a guy calling. He said, Obama never said that. Come on, you guys make up stuff. We said,
I think that's happened actually a couple of times.
yeah, it has.
Yeah.
And we said, here it is.
Yeah.
And we played it.
Yep.
Well, you guys probably edited it.
No.
It's like, nope. No edit there.
No.
It's what he said. And so that's the beauty of Democrats coming together. It's like when people say, well, what do you mean? Kamala Harris, you guys are making it up about the word salads. Here it is.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the best part.
Yeah. That's why we love playing the audio. Look, no one's going to do the interview, but they will proudly promote on their own soil, on their own real estate, how they believe, what they actually think. That's why we play the audio.
It's speaking about crazy. Justice Jackson on the Supreme Court.
Oh man,
she went nuts. The district judge who issued the sweeping injunction barring the Trump administration from canceling the roughly $783 million in grants, and then the Supreme Court reversed it, and she went bonkers. Yeah. And she went after her own colleagues too.
Right,
she went after, she goes after Sotomayor and Kagan all the time. Remember, when she got in, she said, one of the great things is I can tell people what my opinions are on the issues, and people listen.
Right.
It's not your job.
Right.
The job is not to do that. We had said, and we were, again, disappointed with Republicans. Republicans should have fought harder. She gave Republicans the perfect opportunity when she couldn't define a woman. Eric and I were going ballistic that day, screaming at Republicans. You can call her unqualified because either she's lying, which of course she was, Or if she can't define a woman, she cannot sit on the Supreme Court and judge any issue based on women and women's rights.
Right.
Because she can't define what a woman is. And we were screaming, and the Republicans, we'll just let that one go by. Like, don't let that go by. You've got the perfect opportunity to absolutely blast her and the Democrats and Biden for picking her.
Yeah.
Yep. Because she was either unqualified
because she didn't know what a woman was,
or she's lying.
Or she's lying.
One or the other.
Either way, she's not qualified.
And you can make that case, and then you argue that point. Big win, big win, big win, big win.
Yep.
Forget about the Democrats. I still say the Republicans won't fight for conservative issues. The Republicans still don't fight hard enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Democrats actually fight. They're just insane, and they're fighting.
Yeah.
They're just like, we need to get it to a different level of insanity. But Justice Jackson, this column written by Jonathan Turley is just great. He said, for some of us who follow Jackson's interesting, controversial tenure on the court, this was crushingly ironic, although Jackson accused her colleagues of following a new rule that they must always rule with Trump. She herself is widely viewed as a very embodiment of the actual rule of the made-up board game based on the comic strip of Calvin and Hobbes. In Jacksonian jurisprudence, it often seems like there are no fixed rules, only fixed outcomes. She then attacks her colleagues for a lack of integrity and empathy. To quote Calvin, Jackson proves there's no problem so awful that you can't add some guilt to it and make it even worse. Jackson has attacked her colleagues and opinions, shattering traditions of civility and restraint. Her colleagues have clearly had enough. She now regularly blasts that neither of her fellow liberals, Sotomayor or Kagan, are willing to sign on to. Indeed, she has raged against opinions that her legal colleagues have joined. And this is an example. This is a great one. In the case of Stanley versus the city of Sanford, Florida, Justice Jackson and Neil Gorsuch took some fierce swings at each other in her case concerning, get this now, a retired firefighter who wants to sue her former employer. The majority, including Kagan, rejected a ridiculous claim from the former retired firefighter who sued for discrimination for a position that she had neither sought nor held. The court ruled that the language of the statute clearly requires that the plaintiffs be qualified for a given position before they could have claimed to have been denied it due to discrimination. Stanley has Parkinson's disease and had taken a disability retirement at age 47 due to the progress of the disease. Jackson, however, was irate that Stanley could not sue for denial of a position that she never sought, held, or was qualified to perform. Jackson accused the majority once again of showing how pure constructionist, textualists, can easily disguise her own preferences. It was not only deeply insulting, but perfectly bizarre, given that Kagan had joined in the majority opinion. Kagan is about pure as a constructionist judge, or excuse me, a textualist judge as a taxidermist. But it just blasts her for that. Just blast her. She's, if you want, as we have stated before, she is the perfect example of DEI, completely unqualified to be a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
Even her own fellow justices are saying she doesn't rule on any case based on law.
Yep.
She just says, here's what I think, and you guys are for Trump.
Right.
And again,
it has nothing to do with law, and her comments keep going back to that.
Yeah. Again, and it keeps going back to that statement, where she could not tell you what a woman is.
Right.
And you and I looked at each other and we went, the Republican Party should say, sorry, she's done. She gets 0 votes. She's done. And they should have blasted her. Every single senator questioner should have said, what do you mean you can identify a woman? How can you serve? Did anybody ever ask that question, Eric?
No.
I don't remember anybody ever asking that question on the Republican side. How can you rule on any women's rights issue if you don't even know what a woman is?
No. I don't remember anybody.
And I would say, I would have confronted her directly. You're either lying, either you're lying or you're completely unqualified to be a Supreme Court justice. One or the other.
Yeah.
What is it?
Right.
Ask her directly to her face. If you can identify what a woman is, how can you ever rule on any case involving any woman suing for discrimination? And have her answer that question.
Right.
She couldn't answer it.
Nope.
She wouldn't be able to answer it, but they didn't ask it.
Ever.
And what do you get? You get the ultimate DEI candidate who gets the position and is completely clueless and is viewed, even in many liberal circles, as completely and totally unqualified to be a Supreme Court justice. Completely and totally clueless, runs on TDS.
Yep. And it's every time she makes a comment, everything she talks about is, anything but the law. It's about her feelings. I want to express myself. You guys are only trying to help Trump. Where do you apply the law?
Yeah. Well, the one thing is, how long will she last? She keeps getting angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier because she's not a judge. What is she? She's a political activist.
She's an activist. Full stop.
That's why she
We've known that from
right.
the beginning.
That's why she doesn't care. She doesn't care that she looked like a complete ass for not being able to define what a woman is. Because her goal was not to be a good judge. Her goal was to be a political activist.
Yep.
There was no shame.
Nope.
Any of us would go, God, I look like an idiot. I can't tell you what it was. She felt no shame because she's a political activist. She feels no shame for going after even her liberal colleagues on the court because it's not about the law. It's about her rage that she feels today.
Yeah.
It's about her liberalism, and it's about her anger and rage at a system that she views that she's probably a victim of, and she holds one of the highest positions in the United States of America. That's how warped people like Justice Jackson are.
Yep. I mean, and it's how warped the system is, the fact that she made it to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Yep.
The GOP could have done a much better job at making sure that didn't happen, but they didn't.
Nope.
Great job.
Great win. Woohoo. But, yeah, that would be the only thing is she is so enraged all the time.
Oh, yeah.
She probably doesn't like the job.
Well, there's always hope.
Could you imagine?
And she'll retire.
Here's a question with some of the decisions. Who's going to hire her law? What is the future? Would you want to be a law clerk for Justice Jackson with the decisions to help her write these insane positions that she's coming up with that aren't even based on the law at all?
No.
It's got to destroy your reputation if you work for her.
Right.
866-90-RED-I.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Oh, wow. What a day again.
Yeah, and Tuesday's only beginning for everybody else.
That's right. It seems like we've done a full week of shows, hasn't it?
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I can't wait because it's already been a treasure trove of audio cuts from the Democratic National Summer Convention.
Yeah.
I can't wait till tomorrow.
Are they promoting Joy this summer, or is that gone?
Nah, there was no Joy from Tim Walz.
No.
He was going nuts yesterday.
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.